What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now it's the go-home show for the 2022 Elimination Chamber, so what will the WWE do to hype its super show in Saudi Arabia? Well, join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Blue Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including AEW preparing for a huge announcement, with Logan Paul returning at Mania, Corey Graves and Carmella to go noon, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't review the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1 and a new Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn is the IC champion, and while it's good to see the WWE finally take the belt off Nakamura, who's held it for roughly 6 months, but whose title defenses were rare as Drew Gulak appearances, Zayn is perfect for the role of the chicken shit heel who somehow manages to hold on to the belt. But with the rumors of the WWE pitting Knoxville against Zayn at WrestleMania, do we really need a celebrity champion? Now, we're hoping that Zayn turns the IC championship around, but we do know better than to hold our breath waiting for that to happen. Whatever the future holds, the title bout was fantastic as Zayn and Nakamura had the great match you'd expect from them, with Nakamura struggling with a kayfabe leg injury in his unsuccessful title defense. Number 2, Sheamus is superb. Sheamus is a WWE veteran who doesn't get enough credit for his consistently good work in and out of the ring. He's a classic utility player who can make anyone look good and work with opponents of any style. The Celtic Warrior proved this again last night when he took a Spanish fly from Ricochet and sold it like a champ, an incredible feat given Sheamus' weight and height. Equally incredible was Ricochet scoring a win on Sheamus. That really doesn't happen often. Does this mean that WWE is finally going to book Ricochet well? Well, Ricochet said his win over Sheamus means he can move on to something else, but it remains to be seen whether this means jobbing to a new opponent or an actual push. As for Sheamus, his post-match argument with Ridge Holland has us curious who will be the heel once the duo split up. But that was the good. What about the bad? As number 1, pathetic piped-in crowd noise. What's going on with Smackdown and its pathetic attempts to pipe in crowd noise? This is the second time in recent memory that the WWE's efforts to sweeten the show have been so obvious that we're wondering whether the WWE's on-air presentation is deteriorating thanks to Nick Khan gutting its production department. Whatever it is, it makes the WWE product look second-rate, and worse, it makes the wrestler whose segment is being sweetened look like a jabroni as fans watching at home wonder whether the live crowd is bored, hence the fake applause, boos, or laughter. Number 2, quality versus quantity. And last night's Smackdown only had 3 matches, and while the Nakamura vs Zayn bout was pure magic, Sheamus vs Ricochet was riveting, and Jey Uso vs Ivar was, well, a match, the WWE could and should have featured more matches. Now, we aren't arguing that the Blue Brand strives for a quantity over quality approach, but as Smackdown has shown before, there's no shortage of talented workers on the show, which means there's no reason to showcase at least 5 good matches every week. Hell, if Rampage can put in about 4 matches in 1 hour, why can't the WWE? Number 3, phoning it in on the go-home show. Last night's Smackdown was a classic example of the WWE phoning in its go-home show, and while we understand the show was pre-taped, that doesn't excuse the lackluster presentation. The Chamber is the WWE's last show before WrestleMania 38, and you'd think they would do more. Instead, fans got a cookie-cutter edition with the obligatory boring showdown between Bill Goldberg and Roman Reigns, a contract signing that reminded fans just how awful Sonya Deville is on the microphone, and nothing to get fans hyped for Saturday's premium event. Number 4, Deja Vu. The Jey Uso vs Ivar match had us wondering whether we've seen this one before. A member of the Usos versus a member of whatever team they're in a program when battling to a disqualification after interference from one of the Usos. Nothing says formulaic booking like the WWE's handling of its tag team division, and while fans can count on the Usos delivering in their tag matches, the single bouts leading up to the tag match are as predictable as Damian Priest's US Championship Open Challenge. And lastly, another contract signing? Did the WWE's creative team have a coupon book for a buy one get one free for contract signings? How else to explain the ultimate in laziness with SmackDown featuring a contract signing just days after Raw aired a contract signing between Lita and Becky Lynch? Now, there was nothing downright ugly about last night's show, but it was clear the WWE wanted to book this show and basically get it out of the way so it could send its superstars to Saudi Arabia for Elimination Chamber. The show had 2 good matches, but the rest of the program looked to be on life support. It's obvious that WWE doesn't care about using Raw and SmackDown to hype its pay-per-views, or premium events, but could the WWE at least make the programs entertaining? What did you guys think of SmackDown last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at AEW preparing for a huge announcement. Atop today's news is a report of a major announcement coming from All Elite Wrestling. As AEW fans know, the promotion likes to surprise them with big signings, but it looks like AEW President Tony Khan may have something even bigger planned. Meltzer is reporting that Khan was in meetings all day on 17th February trying to put it together. While Khan's announcement is unknown, Wrestling News' Angel Rodriguez had this to say. One possibility is AEW teaming up with one or more promotions for a super show. Kazuchika Okada said during a January interview with Sports Illustrated that he would love to see this happen. Times are tough right now, but I hope what we do will bring joy to everyone all over the world and give them enough strength and positivity to do their best the next day. But when the world calms down, I would like to give back with other wrestling companies to all wrestling fans in the world who still support us even in this current situation. New Japan, WWE, AEW, CMLL and AAA all together? Sounds pretty cool, don't you think? A supercard featuring AEW and other promotions would be epic, but it may be a pipe dream given the difficulties of staging such a huge show with so many promotions. Next up, a twist added to Elimination Chamber. It looks like the WWE Universe has learned about at least one of the rumored twists and turns for the Elimination Chamber, as a tag match between the teams of Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey and Naomi now has the stipulation that Rousey will compete with one arm tied behind her back. This should be an interesting stipulation, but it's odd to see because there is a potential for injury should Rowdy Ronda land wrong. The last thing the WWE needs is for Rousey to be injured, as the company seems to have huge plans for her over the next year. Next up, Logan Paul returning to the WWE. Is Logan Paul returning? Well, Paul, who appeared at WrestleMania 37, is rumored to be on his way back to the company for the 2022 Showcase of the Immortals. Brad Shepard recently tweeted, according to a source in WWE, Logan Paul is coming back to work with the company again, unsure how long. He's currently expected to be in a feud with The Miz. But Ringside News followed up with a report that the WWE is looking to load up WrestleMania 38 with celebrities, which comes as no surprise both because that's the time the WWE tries to get in as much mainstream publicity as possible, and the company is committed to selling out both nights of the Texas show. Next up, WWE reviving a classic television show. It looks like the WWE is taking a trip down memory lane as it's reportedly reviving its Saturday night's main event name. Wrestling News' Andrew Ravens is reporting WWE is slated to bring back the Saturday night's main event name for some upcoming events. WWE will hold house shows on Saturday, April 23rd in Montgomery, Alabama at the Garrett Coliseum and Saturday, April 30th in Lakeland, Florida at the RP Funding Center. As of this writing, only Raw stars are being advertised such as Becky Lynch, Bobby Lashley, Bianca Belair, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest and Kevin Owens. It's unknown whether the WWE intends to revive the show on television or just use the name to hype house shows that are held on Saturday nights. Longtime fans will remember NBC aired Saturday night's main event for several years following the success of the inaugural WrestleMania, with NBC later reviving the shows between 2006 and 2008. And finally, Corey Graves and Carmella to bear all. Last but not least, you may have heard that the real-life wrestling couple Corey Graves and Carmella are working on a reality show, but did you know that the two are planning on showing off some skin? Well, the two announced on their Bear With Us podcast that the Corey and Carmella show will debut on WWE's YouTube channel on 28th February. Cageside Seats Kane Knight reports, while discussing the content you can expect to see as part of the unscripted entertainment on this reality show, Graves made a comparison to WWE's Attitude Era, indicating we're gonna sex it up a little bit and push the envelope beyond what you see from their characters on screen in WWE kayfabe. They both agreed that there'll be a lot of nudity at the very least, and the show will provide a deeper look into what they really are as people when not playing a role for a pro wrestling gimmick. Now, considering YouTube standard, fans are likely to see a lot more of a blurred content. Now, if the series was on HBO Max, it might be a bit different. But there you have it, guys. I'll look at the blue brand as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.